So, now we start with the status of development, as you already know. And as usual, short look on the roadmap where we are here again in spring 2026. So we have currently Ilias 9, Ilias 10 is on use. We are still haven't finished testing with Ilias 11. We'll talk about this in a minute. And then you see where we will be with Ilias 12, which is currently under development. And you see also, like usually, we put it in, synchronize it with the PHP release cycles because we are depending on that very much. So Ilias 9 is almost history. End of active support ended last year, and end of December. We have now security bug fixes only until end of June 27, so still more than a year you can go with Ilias 9. That was a decision we took 2 years ago at the Karlsruhe DevCon for Karlsruhe general member, a meeting of member, to extend this time. So we have the 30th of June 27 with Ilias 9. So those of you who are still using Ilias 9, you still have a bit of time to do the update to 10. But more and more of our users and institutions are already on Ilias 10. It's stable almost 9 months. We have the end of active support, and this is a new information, and you will talk about that in a minute also. Sure. We decided, the technical board decided to extend the active support for Ilias 10 from end of December this year to end of June 27. So another half a year longer active support with all bug fixes, not only security bug fixes, and then half a year for security bug fixes till end of 27. So that's, but you will mention that
yes
in your talk. And then if you have a look at Ilias 11, we started testing beginning of November, still on the way, and Fabian will tell you about that in a minute. So we hope now to finish Ilias 11 and make it stable end of April, so in about 6 weeks, something like that, a bit less than 6 weeks. And that's your turn now, if you like. And Fabian, who is our test manager, will now give a short overview about the situation in testing of Ilias 11. Please.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. We're still busy. The plan was the one that you see. So we wanted to release Ilias already 2 days ago. What is 2 days ago? It didn't happen. We're still working. Here's the reality. Most of you know that our goal is to reach at least 98% passed test cases of our community test. So we're now with 88%, still a way to go. About 10% of tests still need fixes. As you see, quite a few blockers are there. So for those who don't know, the blockers are basically tests that we cannot execute because of issues elsewhere. So about 200 issues still need to be fixed in order to have a chance to reach that quota. Did a short collection of the test runs with the most issues. As you can see here, we still have issues with the accessibility and the UI service, which is also related mostly to accessibility issues. Thanks a lot to Tomke and Annette for testing this thoroughly, also acquiring more help here. This is a lot of work. I know testing is always a hassle, but this is specifically quite technically complex, so I really appreciate it a lot. And also to Oliver for taking care of all the issues that have been found. It's a really bit of a process. The rest, it's not so surprising, mostly For those of you who have been watching these statistics for a few years know that there are some components that need a bit more time because it's just quite a complex stuff. In some cases, we have new authorities taking care, so this is also allows for a bit of time, and yeah, this is where we're at right now. I also want to highlight that it's not all bad. So these are the test runs already closed with 100% passed. So thanks to everybody who tested and fixed quickly. I really appreciate it. And there are some big components also in here. So thanks to everybody who contributed here. Which leads me to a very short remark, impressions from testing Ilias 11. Overall, so far, as you know, we had in autumn, we lost both authorities and also testers, really good testers that I could always rely on and who took a lot of responsibility in testing for many years. And I was very happy that so many people from our community stepped forward and said, okay, I will take over this part, I can contribute here. Many new people coming in, and this is something, even though we are a bit late, I want to highlight that thanks to your contributions in the community, we were able to get that far, because many big components needed fresh testers and also fresh authorities. And concerning the date, I would really love to be at LearnTech and present a stable Ilias 11. So maybe could you please, those of you who still have works to do, retests to do, still have fixes to do, please get going. Let's not wait until summer, because I know of at least 2 institutions who would like to update in the summer, and let's give them the chance to do so. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Fabian. So, and we go on with Marvin. You prepared some slides from the technical board before we go on with Ilias 12. So, now it's your turn.
I prepared some slides. I mean, we prepared some slides. The technical board is not just me who did it, of course. We are a small group of 4 people, soon to be 5 again, as you all know. I just want to show you some things that happened last year or until now. We already have a few months in. And a short look into the future, let's say, what is planned, what are our strategic directions. And one thing I want to tell you about are the new authorities. I mean, you all know we lost CAT and Uni Bern. They had a lot of authorities. They held a lot of authorities, so we had to find. This was a huge part of work for a few months for us to find new authorities, to onboard them, and we are, of course, very thankful for all the people who took over authorities. And I think we can give a little clap to them, because so what we're also doing, because I mean, all the developers know it's not that easy to get into the code of Ilias, and the onboarding is also a thing that we are working on. And also Ann-Christine Gruber, I don't know if she's here, I haven't seen her yet, and she's there. And now I forgot the other name. She's working together with someone else on onboarding documents as well. And we as a TB, I'm sorry for forgetting the name. I should have written it down, but it's not just her. And it's also Rob, for example, from the TB. And we're working together on making it maybe easier for new authorities to get onboarded and to work with the Ilias code. Also, if you have any questions that are not too technical, then I have help, of course. No, you can raise your hand, and we have a microphone because we have some people online that are listening. So if you want to ask anything or start a discussion, that should be not too long, but we have a microphone here. This is a little longer slide, but I want to tell you a little bit about accessibility. I mean, we are talking about it a lot. Just one thing that probably some of you already saw, we decided as the technical board to officially support the DIN EN norm that's written down here, 301549. And as the new standard for Ilias, which is not only limited to the German BETV, for example, it's a little bit more international, and we are not just Germany. Of course, we're a huge part of Germany, but some people are also outside of Germany, so it's more international. And the SIG Accessibility, who we're working together with, is now working on a revised accessibility guidelines to reflect the change here. Also, we had a talk with them, and we suggested them to maybe think about. We were talking a lot about how to make it maybe easier for developers to be accessible in their code. We had a short talk at a restaurant yesterday about that as well. So it's not only this. We had an idea of maybe thinking about making some automated testing in the GitHub pipeline if someone is making a PR. But also, I heard from some people yesterday that it should be a good idea also to maybe restart having more, more training for developers who are interested in learning more about accessibility. And this could be something that could be funded by the community as well. Or we could just maybe, we have Annette as an accessibility expert now, so maybe we can make some training documents with her. We are just at the start of it to make it better as well. Then just some things I want to tell you about the long-term maintainability of the code base, and what we did and what we are working on right now is you all know the maintenance MD, which is like the the main document of where everyone is written down, who is responsible for what in the development process. And we are restructuring, rewriting the whole document, let's call it this, because there's not all the components that we have are not in there, and it's not up to date. It's pretty up to date, but there are some components missing, and we are restructuring it at the moment. So we have a full list of it, and we are planning on, the maintenance JSON files. We are also planning on removing them later on, after we have finished the maintenance MD. So we only have one source of truth, the maintenance MD, one place to look at and to find what you need, and also make it maybe easier for new developers who are working on it. Also, of course, this is something I don't know how much of you are looking at the forums as well, but Max Becker, I think he's here as well, who is up for vote. Oh, he's there. Who's up for vote for the new technical board? He mentioned technical debt, reduction of technical debt as well in his strategy, and we are also, of course, working in this as much as we can. As you can see here, I've written it down as well, not to forget it, reducing technical debt and keeping the code base maintainable in the long term. This is something that started in the TB, like last year we had a change in the technical board, but they already started working on better coordination of breaking changes. And we are also, at the moment, we started working on updating the feature, what is it called? I have a feature wiki. No, not the feature wiki. What's the word? When we... the place where we ask for new features to show them in the JurFix. The feature wiki. Feature wiki. Sometimes I just have a hole in my. So we started working on an updated. I have it even written down here. Feature request template. We started working on this as well regarding change behavior. As we noticed last year, we had some, let's say, miscommunication about certain things where things were changed in a new feature request that some people didn't. It was technical-wise, it was all written down well, but some people who are not into technical stuff didn't understand changes that happened. So we are working on making it more clear, not only to developers to understand it, but also, for example, for universities. So as soon as they see a feature request, they also understand, hopefully without understanding all the technical stuff, that this feature request also does something in changing behavior of something. I hope I explained it well. Security and stability. We have a small part with David Tokar. He's there. He's also going to tell you a little bit about the ongoing state of security. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but what we are doing is, I mean, you all know the security group. I want to say a big thank you. I don't know how much people know how much work this is, but I just see in the Discord how much they are working on, and it's a lot of work, and it's super important for Elias to be secure, and I see they're handling critical issues very as soon as possible. So I just want to make sure to be thankful for them as well. They're not mentioned that often, maybe, I don't know, but just want to say a little clap, because security is very important. So two more things I want to tell you about. Michael Jansen from the technical board. He is working on the introduction of a template engine at the moment. We're going to tell you about this. No, Rob's. I mean, it's not only him. It's of course the technical board. It's of course but we're working on the introduction of a new template engine, and also what. We are doing is we have planned database support for this UTF-8 MB4. I'm not super into understanding, but Rob told me it's super important to do this, and you probably all know. Yeah, you're nodding your heads. So I think there are no questions asked. We're working on doing this. Just something that we also have funded with our budget. I'm going to tell you a little bit about other projects soon. I just want to tell you about this one, the Git guidelines. We funded this by our budget. I don't know, Thibault, I saw him somewhere. Ah, there he is. He wrote some Git guidelines for making it more easy to collaborate in the Elias repository. I think some of you have already seen it, maybe all of you have seen it. And it's, of course, making it easier for people who are not working with GitHub all the time, or for new people. So we have a more structured and clear way of working together in GitHub, in developing. Just something I want to tell you about, which were discussions that we had as well. We all are using plugins. And it's kind of a strategic goal to make it even more easy to use plugins in the Elias ecosystem, and making Elias even more accessible. I mean, you all know the component revision that started with the TB last year ago, or was it already 2 years ago? But you all know it's there, which should make it more easy to work on plugins as well. And we understand how important it is to use plugins in Elias. So we are working together with the SIG Elias plugins on this as well, to maybe, you've all heard the discussion about having community plugins, for example. And we just want to make sure it's not getting harder to use plugins, but maybe to make it more easy in the future to make more of the core systems available for the plugins as well. And this is just one of our strategic goals. The release cycles, Matthias already told you about the additional 6 months that we extended the full maintenance phase of Elias 10 off. And what we are also working on is maybe, what is it called, a revised release cycles. So what let me explain a little bit. We heard from the community and also from the Beirat, the advisory board, that the release cycle is maybe not the best way we are handling it at the moment. So instead of just changing it, we are working on a small survey that we're going to send to the code authorities, in then getting some ideas on how we could revise the release cycle in the future. So to make sure we have the community on board with this as well, we want to then make sure I don't want to say anything because it's all open now. We are looking forward to hearing from all of you. So please, after we have sent out the survey, only with your feedback we can adapt to your needs, of course. So it's very important for us to get as much feedback as possible, and we're going to send it out in the following weeks, and also tell you about it in the JurFix, so who all didn't see it. Then one change. for now, when we had when we closed when Elias, how is it called? When we closed when the end of lifetime. Thank you for helping me. When the end of lifetime happened, what we did was close the tickets that weren't finished, that weren't worked on. So what we did now, or what we have discussed in the technical board is, instead of just closing them, we want to make sure to not do this because people put work into the tickets, and we want to make sure to update them to the new version. And this is why we are proposing a new way on doing this. Instead of just closing them, we want to make sure they don't get lost, because a lot of tickets, for example, accessibility, I see Annette there, I know it's a lot of work to write the tickets, and it's sometimes frustrating for people who are reporting tickets that they are just being closed. So we want to make sure to take them into the new version, and so the maintainer, for example, can look and see if it's still there, and we just want to make sure the work there doesn't get lost. I don't think so. This is the way we are doing it. We are planning to do it specifically. Of course, we're going to write it down somewhere on the after. We are putting the presentation online as well, right? So what we are doing is, instead of closing them, we increment the target version to the next fully supported system, and the responsible person, as I just said, should verify if it's still open. Instead of just closing it. Also, instead of just closing them automatically, you will see an automatic comment for this. Just I'm getting to the end here about our budget situation. I just said we already funded the Git guidelines, for example, with SR Solutions. Just so you know, our budget was, you all know the budgets are getting smaller, which is, so we also got cut by approximately 50%. This is why we can no longer fund like big projects. We are trying to focus more on specific smaller projects, and for example, as we did the last years, we only funded some parts of removing GUI a little bit, and the Git guidelines that I just already told you about. Also, we funded the dependency consolidation. Normally, we were writing out to all the authorities, all the developers, to find someone from the community to do the dependency consolidation. We unfortunately didn't find someone. This is why we used our budget for this as well, to make sure this gets done, because of course we need it. And of course, we have less budget, so we can do less. But it's not only money that we need, we also need the community in the end. Just as a short overview, in the end, we are working on a lot of things. I don't want to just read this, you can read it if you want, but it's basically everything I just said put together in a small list. So if you are looking at the slides later on, you can look at this one and see a small overview of what we are doing and what we are doing in the future. I want to say thank you again to the rest of our technical board, because we are meeting every 2 weeks, maybe more often sometimes for individual projects, to discuss something, to work on something. And yeah, I think I'm closing with this. Thank you.
That was a lot of input. Maybe there are some questions about so much.
Maybe I didn't want to answer questions. No.
If there are any.
If there are
just
any
give
questions.
You a chance. There was a lot of input.
Yeah.
No. Alexander.
Oh wait, I'll give you. I can give it to you.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Sorry, it's a super technical question, but I just remember on one of the slides there was mentioned something about inconsistent database schemas, and maybe a little bit of a hard question. I don't know if it's ever been discussed in JoFix, because I'm not aware of this, but some people might want to be aware of this, or I misread this. the goal with the database update steps. Maybe some of the technicians like Michael has more knowledge about this. What's this about?
You want to say something, or Rob, maybe? It's closer.
Yeah, it's just about the implementation of the database update steps for different Elias versions. There is no actual guideline on how to do it, and we stumbled upon over problems like how it was implemented. Like steps are not really introduced in one version, but in another version of Elias, and it's not coordinated for all components currently, and that's why the setup authorities will write a guideline on how to do it for every major upgrade of the database.
Okay, inconsistencies between different major releases, not within one, right? Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay. Otherwise, Marvin, Rob, Michael, they are all here for additional questions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm finished. No, you don't need it. You have one in your. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, then we go on with Elias 12, and again a short roadmap. We had you already mentioned about the dependencies. We had a dependency geofix for Elias 12. We had the collection, the so-called big project geofix in November. So currently, coding of Elias 12 is on the way, and coding completed is 28th of October. So still, let's say, about half year away. And there are already some features published to Trunk or committed to Trunk or currently in development. So features we know that they will go into 12 based on the information of the feature wiki. So there might be even more, but the metadata of the feature wiki hasn't been updated yet. So have a look on it. Again, we go on with improvement of Elias for open educational resources. We have some improvements in the area of SOAP, thanks also to the new authorities for the SOAP and web services. Improvements in mail, some in bookings tools. So this is all stuff that will make it into Elias 12 for sure. Other stuff, as you know, last year we changed a bit the process, so features are no longer scheduled for a specific version, but they are accepted for Trunk, and then it's the decision of the maintainer, of the authority, if it goes in which version it will be published. So it means that all these features that are accepted for Trunk might go into 12, but some of them might make maybe only for not before 13. Maybe because of funding, maybe because of resources, whatever. But these are already accepted features, so one day, hopefully, they will make it into Elias. And a lot more of these accepted, but they need funding. So if you have a look on it and see, oh, that's a nice feature, I want to push that, and this is a good option to contact the responsible authority and offer your interest in funding. So we see even a lot more of features on the list, but not sure if they will be implemented because funding is not secure yet. And the thing is, what usually I have a list of abandoned features, but maybe they still coming. So there are no abandoned features yet for Elias 12. I'm sure they will appear in the next month. But yeah, that's for the look on Elias 12. And one very important change in Elias 12, or a big development for Elias 12, will be now also mentioned, the test and assessment with Dennis and Stefan. Sorry, I had only added Dennis. It's now a PDF. I can't change the slides anymore. So you have one micro and another one. Dennis and Stefan, please.
So, guten Morgen auch von meiner Seite. Ich werde das Ganze jetzt auf Deutsch halten. Die Folien sind aber netterweise für die englischsprachigen Gäste auf Englisch. So, wir haben im Test und Assessment ja seit Jahren entsprechende Bemühungen, den Code zu erneuern bzw. zu überarbeiten. Wir haben ja Anfang diesen Jahres, bin mir nicht ganz sicher, weil wir den Prozess zur Überarbeitung der Testfragenerstellung beschlossen haben, ein großes Projekt angeschoben. Allerdings ist es schon so, wenn man sich die Codebasis des Test und Assessments anschaut, dass da viel alter Code noch drin ist. Ein großer Batzen sind die Kompetenzen. Wir haben das angeschaut, wie das dort entsprechend verbaut ist, wie dort die Dinge eingebaut sind, auch von der UX her, und haben dabei festgestellt, dass es nicht möglich ist, das Aktuelle so zu adaptieren, dass es vernünftig an die neue Testfragenerstellung angebunden werden kann, und haben daher beschlossen, die Nutzung der Kompetenzen in den Testfragen zu erbeenden, vermutlich mit ILIAS 13, haben aber natürlich, wenn es Nutzerinnen und Nutzer gibt, auch gesagt, wenn eine Neuimplementation finanziert ist, dann kann das Feature auch erhalten werden. Wir gehen davon aus, dass es mindestens 80.000 Euro in Anspruch nehmen wird. Diese Summe müsste halt entsprechend gefunden werden. Die Timeline haben wir ja vorhin gesehen, wann ILIAS 13 irgendwann kommen wird, 2028. Also ist noch genug Zeit, hier entsprechende Finanzierung aufzutreiben. Was wir auf jeden Fall auch identifiziert haben als nicht wirklich funktionierend, entsprechend bei der Untersuchung der Sprachvariablen zusammen mit Chris Potter, der hat das ja sehr intensiv durchgearbeitet, um auch praktisch jede der Sprachvariablen live zu sehen, wo die verwendet wird, wann die verwendet wird, wo die angezeigt wird, sind wir klar zur Erkenntnis gekommen, dass diese Gamification, also praktisch die Anzeige der Testergebnisse in einem Ranking und so weiter, dass das einfach nicht richtig funktioniert und entsprechend auch mit moderner UI reimplementiert werden muss. Unsere Planung ist es eigentlich jetzt mit ILIAS 12 oder für ILIAS 12 zu erbeenden. Auch da glauben wir, wenn das jemand benötigt, dass das möglich ist, aber auch entsprechende Summen benötigt. Wir schätzen 45.000 Euro. Ein weiterer Fall ist die Antwortoption Image Map. Also im Moment reden wir von Fragetypen, zukünftig reden wir nur noch von Fragen mit bestimmten Antworttypen und Antwortoptionen. Die Image Map Frage lässt sich unserer Ansicht nach nicht barrierefrei implementieren, und daher sollte sie nicht als barrierebehaftete, würde ich jetzt mal sagen, Fragen- oder Antworttyp im Kern verankert werden und würde dementsprechend mit der Umstellung der Fragen in ILIAS 13 rausfallen als Kernfrageoption. Wahrscheinlich nutzen viele die Image-Map-Frage oder den Image-Map-Antworttyp, und wir könnten uns durchaus vorstellen, dass es als externe Komponente weiter erhalten wird, dass es dann noch einen Migrationsprozess der bestehenden Fragen gibt, aber das läuft dann halt außerhalb des Kernentwicklungsprozesses. Früher hat man es Fragen-Plugin genannt, das ist dann halt zukünftig eine externe Komponente, müsste entsprechend beauftragt werden. Ein weiterer Punkt, den wir mit ILIAS 13 abenden werden, ist die Formelfrage. Die Formelfrage war ja schon mal ein Plugin. Das Problem an dieser Frage ist, dass sie extrem komplex ist und sehr viele Fehler erzeugt, weil sie erstens viele Dinge oder einige Dinge nicht implementiert wurden initial und dass Leute nicht wissen, warum das nicht implementiert wurde, wird dann immer wieder als Fehler gemeldet, erzeugt Aufwand. Das nachzuimplementieren ist schwierig wegen dieser Zufallsfunktion, die sie hat. Und sie basiert auf einer Bibliothek, die auch entsprechend refakturiert werden müsste. Wir haben dann das uns angeschaut und eine komplette Überarbeitung wäre halt notwendig und wir glauben halt nicht, dass die notwendige Finanzierung dafür zustande kommt. Deswegen wollen wir jetzt schon ankündigen, dass wir sie aus dem Kern entfernen möchten. Auch hier besteht natürlich die Möglichkeit, sie extern auch so einzubinden, wenn dann entsprechende Personen oder Interessensgruppen die Finanzierung sicherstellen und entsprechend beauftragen. Hat natürlich dann den Vorteil, dass es nicht an den normalen Prozessen entlang ist, sondern halt, wie es jetzt auch bei anderen Typen wie der Stack-Frage ist, möglicherweise in einer Special Interest Group getan werden kann. Genau. Stefan sagt ja immer wieder, dass er als Einzelkämpfer schon recht ausgelastet ist. Ich habe vorab schon Gespräche mit den Authorities bei Database geführt, also Thomas Jussen und Max Becker, ob denn die Database Entwicklungskapazitäten zur Verfügung hat, wenn das Funding vorhanden ist, um diese Arbeiten zu übernehmen. Und da wurde mir zugesagt, dass sie bereitstehen würden, wenn Funding gefunden wird, die entsprechenden Arbeiten auch durchzuführen. Von daher, wenn ihr Interesse an diesen Fragetypen und Antworttypen habt oder an den Kompetenzen oder an diesem Gamification-Setting in den Ergebnissen, müsstet ihr euch entsprechend dorthin wenden. Genau, soweit.
Two little more things, that's why I'm here. On a more technical point of view, you saw that there are different kinds of problems in the different parts. That's rather important to understand. We have the image map question where it is a problem that is not solvable. So an image map question is never going to be accessible, because how do you describe to a blind person what you have in front of you? This is completely impossible. You could have AI read the picture to you, but that would be the answer to your question in every case. Otherwise, it becomes useless. So that's a non-solvable problem. We have the first two parts that were competencies and gamification, where things were tacked on. So we have the test, and then there were things tagged on, who tried to use the inputs for answer-based competence points assignments, and is not yet in a psychiatric clinic. My congratulations. It just throws something at you. Might break, might go south, might go west, who knows. So that's the other problem. And the last one is simply a hard problem. These are not hard problems. These are just problems that would need resources to do them. This is basically solvable. So just for you to get an idea where we are. And the last one, that was the formula question. This is a problem of complexity. This is a hard problem. Theoretically also a solvable one, but a very hard one. Because math, and the math that we are trying to do here, is not easy to implement correctly. So you have, what are they called in English? Brüche? Fractions, thank you. We try to move from fractions to floating points. In the background, we use floating points. Who knows, the people who know what binary floating points mean, know how easily they go south. They usually do go south, and it's very lucky if they get where you want them to be, and you need a lot of work to get them right. So that's a problem of complexity. Again, another problem. All of this comes also out in the other context, and this is the last part, that we are, as Matthias I think said before, we are doing and Dennis said it, we are doing the question refactoring, or we are implementing the question component, and in this part we need to move everything to a new framework. We are migrating everything, and we are looking at each of the questions separately. And who is interested in that, we have a presentation this afternoon. It will be technical, that means implementation staff, interfaces, technical interfaces, not the front end. Nobody will see anything what's going on in the front end. And these things bubble up in this context right now. And the question component implementation as we do it is still only back end. The front end is going to stay as it is. So we are not going to have the last step done there, so there will be more to do. And then the test has to follow. So we need to have the front-end implementation, because what do you do with questions if you can't show them to your participants? So much from my side.
Yeah, just two things I'd like to comment upon. I'm a wee bit shocked, but yeah, two things. First, I really don't follow your logic with the image map question. So if this is naturally something that can't be done in an accessible way. But for me, that's not a reason not to include it. I mean, come on, guys. If we have a testing component which does not offer the possibility to create the very widely used didactic scenario, here's an image, select the proper region for something, then we're done. So we must find a way to do this, and making this this crucial thing an external component is not the way that I see going forward, really. So I'd really recommend revising this decision. And I know there are like price tags stapled to this, which come from somewhere, which are kind of high. But for me, this kind of logic, this can't be done in an accessible way because it just can't, so we can't include it, is really not the way I'd like to go forward with anything in Elias, if it's really something didactically important and that can't be done otherwise. So I don't follow that logic, first point. The second point is about the skills. I've been using this, and I'm not in a psychiatric clinic. With respect to who did this and who implemented this is not a good thing to say, by the way. So please be more careful which references and metaphors you use there, please. For everybody who knows the person who did it, it's not funny.
This is not
and the
about
other
the
thing
person
is,
who did it.
This is one of the crown jewels. I know it's complex, and I know it's complicated. But if the skills system loses the option of having some evaluation that's not just a survey evaluation, a self-evaluation, but a question-based evaluation. So if this is not possible anymore, it's kind of a hard blow to the skills system. And revising this, fine. Maybe just abandoning the answer-specific stuff, but just saying, okay, we'll remove that, if I got that correctly, is something I'd really strongly stand against, because the skills system is a crown jewel, a gem that Elias has that Moodle doesn't have, for example. And if we remove those things, I don't think it's going to be good for Elias in the long run. Thank you.
Just as a reaction first, it's not about the person implementing it. The person implementing it was in front of a completely impossible problem. Somebody was asked to do something that should cost triple for a third of the money. Then you can say, no, I don't do it, which programmers usually do. And then you might have a boss who says, yes, it's a good idea to do it. Or as you argued, we absolutely need that, which is a kind of a funky argument. If you absolutely need that, the sum is small. This is not what you pay in Microsoft licenses per year. So go for it. I don't see the thing there. We absolutely need this is no argument for nothing unless you really do. So put your foot where your mouth is. We have sums in there. Dennis checked up that we have resources. As soon as you reserve your resources, as fast as things get done. Once it is out, then you need to redo everything. So do it before it is out. Because otherwise you need to rebuild all the questions you have lost, which is not funny. So nobody said that there is no way. There's just an argument that if you need something, you need to do it.
Ja, hier ist Alexandra war noch vorher.
I would like to offer looking at how Drupal does this, because with people who are well versed in accessibility, they kept praising the way Drupal does this for the image map question, and arrived at the conclusion that this is the current best way to work with this. And I would invite anybody who has some interest in this to go through this and have a look at how they do it and learn from that approach. And I think this might well be worth our time.
So if somebody needs demix match questions over there, somebody wants to do a custom component?
I have so many things to say about this. It will not come into any specific order. So first of all, I am under the impression that you are morphing the test and assessment primarily support e-exam scenarios, which is understandable, but it is not the whole truth. I stand by my general assessment that the vast majority of questions answered every day in ELIAS are 10 true-false single choices at the end of a learning module. And we also have to support all sorts of self-learning scenarios and self-evaluations that we do with it. I think it is important to not lose this important character piece of the test and assessment. This segues to the formula question. You know, I'm not a particular fan of the formula question myself, and when I thought about getting rid of it at first, I was sparkling with joy. And then I came back to realizing what the actual core problem of the formula question is. We do have a stack question for a reason. So any kind of complex math should not be done with a formula question. The formula question is, no, I am lacking a word, the Dreisatz question. That's what it is good for. And it is good for especially self-evaluation and training scenarios where you have this randomized variety of question appearances in which this particular question type is so unique and much different from any others. But I would say, do not just throw it away like that. And perhaps a solution is to further sharpen the scope of this question type and define, don't do math with this, do just calculation. And maybe that would help a great deal. And finally, I like to express, and this is not completely founded in looking at the situation most closely, but I am skeptic about the question service when the consequence is that we have a whole wake of other features that we have to give up, which are existing right now, which do work, even if they make weird sounds at times, which are tested every year. And now that we have a new system coming up, we throw away, well, not one, not two, not three, and we have even some more things that are on the chopping block. And I would like you to please be considerate and careful selecting which of these pieces you really like to cut away. And complexity can be reduced on two ends. One is the code for sure, and you're right about that. The other one is to maybe just limit the application case in which it is to be used, because even the formula question in its current state can be fantastic for Dreisatz.
So. Es ist schön, dass ihr alle gesagt habt, wir brauchen ganz viele Dinge, wie die Kompetenzen, und wir können das nicht wegwerfen und das nicht wegwerfen. Wir haben klar gesagt, dass wir nicht sagen, wir wollen es wegwerfen, sondern wir müssen es wegwerfen, weil wir nicht genug Finanzierung haben, um es so weiterzuführen. Wenn ihr alle denkt, wir brauchen es, dann sichert die Finanzierung für diese Dinge, dann können sie fortgeführt werden. Ich habe nicht gesagt, dass die Formelfrage weggeworfen wird wegen dem Prozess, sondern dass sie als externe Komponente fortgeführt werden muss. Das habe ich auch mit Thomas diskutiert und auch mit Matthias als Produktmanager. Ebenso die Barrierefreiheitsfrage. Wie gesagt, ihr habt jetzt den Zeitplan gesehen, warum und wie lang es dauern würde. Sichert die Finanzierung, beauftragt entsprechende Service Provider, dann können wir es behalten. Niemand nimmt euch die Kompetenzen weg. Einfach so, sondern nur, weil wir aktuell nicht die passende Finanzierung haben. Aktuell haben wir vorhin gesehen, wir haben 21 Failed-Testfälle in ILIAS 11. Wer hat die Finanzierung übernommen, um diese Sachen zu bearbeiten? Bislang niemand. Es scheitert aktuell an den Ressourcen. Wir sind extra hier in diesen Hauptslot gegangen, um euch frühzeitig zu informieren, damit niemand nachher sagen kann, wir hätten euch nicht informiert, dass es am Geld gescheitert ist. Es ist nicht an unserem Willen gescheitert, Max, oder auch, weil wir euch irgendwas wegnehmen wollen oder weil wir uns auf E-Exams konzentrieren wollen, sondern weil im Moment niemand Ressourcen bereitstellt, um es zu erhalten. Das ist der Hauptgrund.
Sorry, and one point additionally, the idea of the question service is to make it clear how you implement questions, to have it possible to implement questions wherever you need them. Having questions inside a test means that you need to have the resources every year. We can leave things broken for you. And we had to do this once now, and we went to the social fix and we said, this is going to be broken unless somebody steps up for it. In my world, this cannot be a solution, because if you look at my Mantis, you will find one single issue that is 3 days old. Everything else needs to be fixed or at least answered for. If the only answer I can give you is it's going to be broken for the foreseeable future, this is simply frustrating. And frustrating means less work done by programmers. So there is an equilibrium somewhere, and things we are programming here. We are not building something, and even building something in the sense of the house. And even if you build a house, you have to put money aside to keep it working. This cheat of thinking that because it's written in front of it that it is Ilias core, and then magically it's going to be there forever. This model, I'm sorry, is dead. It will never come back. It is gone. And if you don't realize that, it is going to be triply gone. Then Ilias is going to be gone. So you hear that I'm a little bit frustrated at that part. If you need something, we gave you away.
Thanks. We have to go on with otherwise we'll run out of time. I think we pick up the topic again later. We have time at a lunch break, but also you have a presentation about the question creation, so there will be chances to discuss that again. We go on with Fabian, the new authority of the component.
Yes.
Component,
genau. Ich mache diesen Teil ganz kurz in Deutsch, versuche auch ein bisschen Zeit einzuholen. Heute Nachmittag ist dann allerdings in Englisch und auch einiges ausführlicher. Thibaut und ich werden in 90 Minuten zeigen, dass man durchaus 1 bis 2 Komponenten in die neuen Integrationsmechanismen überführen kann. Also wir wollen halt live zeigen, das ist nicht so eine große Geschichte, wie vielleicht einige annehmen, diese Component Revision, vor der manche auch ein bisschen Angst haben. Und wir wollen insbesondere auch zeigen, warum wir das tun wollen, warum diese Component Revision so wichtig ist aus unserer Sicht, weil wir dann eben zukünftig nicht mehr über Removing Questions oder Question Types sprechen müssen, sondern von Moving Question Types. Also dass eine Komponente halt eben Teil von Ilias Core sein kann, aber eben auch von einer anderen Komponente sozusagen, also eben eine externe Komponente ist und man eben zukünftig Ilias sehr viel modularer an die eigenen Bedürfnisse anpassen kann. Dafür braucht es das hier. Wir denken auch, dass es der Berufsstolz des Entwicklers eigentlich vorgibt, dass man das tun will, weil es führt einfach automatisch zu besserem Code, zu klaren Abhängigkeiten zwischen den Komponenten. Man sieht dann eben sozusagen, welche Komponente braucht was alles aus dem Ilias-Universum, was im Moment einfach komplett versteckt ist und oft eben auch zu Fehlern führt. Genau, also in 90 Minuten zeigen wir, wie man das tun kann, dass das gar nicht so eine große Geschichte ist und auch wie die Reise weitergeht, weil ganz abgeschlossen ist die Component Revision noch nicht. Da werden wir noch ein bisschen dran arbeiten in den nächsten Jahren, aber genau, wir wollen euch ein bisschen die Angst nehmen vor diesem Thema. Das war's.
Okay. Thank you, Fabian. And we go on with Legacy UI und Oliver.
Matthias. Ja, ich werde meinen Teil auch auf Deutsch machen, möchte euch zum wiederholten Mal etwas zum Removing Legacy UI Projekt erzählen. Ich habe versucht herauszufinden, wie oft ich euch damit in den Ohren liege und ihr dürft als erstes einmal tief durchatmen. Ich tue es wieder. Ich stehe, glaube ich, jetzt das 6. Mal auf einer DevConf allein damit, um darüber zu berichten, wo wir hinwollen, wo wir stehen, wie es weitergehen soll. Daneben stehen eben ja diverse andere Community-Treffen, auf denen sich das immer mal anbietet, was dazu zu sagen. Ich will auf die Rahmenbedingungen als solches gar nicht weiter eingehen. Die Folien haben sich über die Zeit hier nicht in eine wahnsinnige Evolution bewegt. Es geht mir vielmehr darum, mit euch kurz darüber zu reden, wo wir stehen. Ich habe tatsächlich auch einen oder anderen Einblick dafür mit, wo wir im Moment stehen bleiben. Und wie wir von dort aus weiterkommen, würde ich zumindest gern in Aussicht stellen. Das, was ihr hier seht, ist sozusagen die Darstellung dafür, was wir in Ilias 9, 10, 11 und 12 machen. Ich bitte aktiv darum, nicht zu erschrecken, weil bei Ilias 11 dort nichts steht, weil wir haben uns sozusagen einfach mit den Dingen schon beschäftigt, die hier in den Listen von Ilias 12 aufgenommen sind. Dazu gehören dann insbesondere solche Themen wie die alten Tables auszubauen, gegen neue zu ersetzen, die Confirmation Screens zu ersetzen, den EL Explorer, also das, was ihr als Tree, als Baumansicht habt, für Formulare und Ähnliches auszutauschen, sowie eine ganze Reihe anderer Dinge. Die Dinge, die für 9 und 10 geschehen sind, dafür bin ich erstmal sehr dankbar und froh, dass wir das geschafft haben. Es gibt aber eben noch eine ganze Reihe von Dingen zu tun. Damit das nicht ganz so technisch daherkommt und wir uns auf die wesentlichen Dinge konzentrieren können, will ich nur den Fortschritt, vor allen Dingen auf den Fortschritt zeigen seit der letzten DevConf. Das ist nämlich der Bereich, der jeweils grün hervorgehoben ist. Das heißt, wir haben im Bereich der Table weiter reduziert. Wir haben im Bereich der Confirmation Screens und des Legacy Explorers weiter reduziert. Und der Legacy Syntax Highlighter ist raus. Das ist das, was dafür da ist, um Codestrukturen innerhalb von Ilias anzeigen zu können. Ganz wichtig, vielen Dank an alle, die sich bis dato und auch im letzten halben Jahr wieder erneut beteiligt haben. Das sind mindestens neu dazugekommen die Universität Stuttgart und die Helmut-Schmidt-Universität in Hamburg. Da gehören aber auch wiederkehrende Investments dazu von der THOWL, von der Universität Marburg, von dem KIT, der DHBW. Also an vielen Stellen Unterstützung. Nichtsdestotrotz ist eben immer noch eine ganze Menge zu tun. Vielen Dank. Was ich mir dieses Mal gespart habe, sozusagen, ist zu zeigen, wo sich jetzt bestimmte Screens irgendwie wie geändert haben, weil der Innovationsdrang ist da jetzt gar nicht mehr so groß gewesen im letzten halben Jahr, sondern es geht darum, das, was wir gemacht haben, jetzt wirklich in die Breite zu tragen. Und es gibt aber im Wesentlichen aus meiner Sicht 3 Punkte, wegen denen wir im Moment nicht gut vorankommen oder warum wir langsamer vorangekommen sind. Das eine ist, wir haben es vorhin schon gehört, es gab eine ganze Reihe von Umbrüchen bei den Authorities. Menschen, die jetzt neu mitarbeiten, müssen natürlich in diese Projekte erstmal involviert werden. Menschen, die nicht mehr da sind, die Know-how hatten und in Prozessen bereits involviert waren, sind weg. Das macht es für das Projekt nicht unbedingt leichter voranzukommen. Wir haben, ich habe gerade gesagt, auch eine Reihe von neuerlichen Finanzierungen, von neuen Finanzierungspartnern oder eben auch, Wiedertätern? Nee. Also im Positiven gesprochen diejenigen, die sich wieder beteiligt haben. Nichtsdestotrotz stehen wir immer noch vor einem großen finanziellen Aufwand, der erforderlich ist, um das Projekt zum Ende zu bringen und wirklich diese Sachen aus dem Code loszuwerden. Dahinter steht ein drittes Problem und das gehört mit dem ersten ein Stück weit zusammen. Wir haben Ressourcenprobleme auch im Bereich des Codings fürs UI-Framework und nicht zuletzt haben wir die Situation, dass wir uns im UI-Framework, das sind dann Thibaut Fuhrer und ich seit irgendwann Anfang Dezember, uns im Wesentlichen nicht mit den Neuerungen für den Ausbau von Legacy UI befassen konnten, sondern uns im Wesentlichen mit Themen rund um Accessibility und die bestehenden gemeldeten Probleme befasst haben. Das führt einfach dazu, dass die Ressourcen eben für dieses Projekt oder die Befassung damit fehlt. Was ansonsten vielleicht für die Projektdurchführung noch wichtig ist, deswegen habe ich es einmal mit aufgenommen, wir kommen immer weiter davon weg, dass wir uns sozusagen mit dem Status des Projektes befassen. Alle diejenigen Entwickler und Entwicklerinnen von euch, die auch regelmäßig in den Meetings waren oder sein werden. Wir versuchen jetzt sehr viel mehr inhaltliche Diskussionen wieder zu führen und weniger über den Progress des Projektes selber zu sprechen. Und dafür soll auch der nachstehende dritte Baustein auf dieser Seite so ein bisschen den Eindruck geben, wir haben eben noch eine ganze Reihe von Dingen zu tun. Die Filter müssen im Moment immer einzeln implementiert werden, trotz der Data Table. Das sollte eigentlich im Ganzen kommen. Wir müssen diesen Tree Select, also das, was den alten Explorer ablöst, entsprechend in der Breite ausrollen. Wir haben noch kein fertiges UI-Element zur Ablösung der alten Confirmation Screens, in denen wiederum auch ohne Ende alte Tabellen drin liegen. Und wir haben durchaus auch den ein oder anderen Use Case, der uns dazu bringt, zum Beispiel an der Tabelle Erweiterungen durchzuführen oder aber auch an anderen UI-Elementen. Das sind manchmal nur Kleinigkeiten, aber manchmal eben auch größere Dinge zu tun. Dazu gehören dann auch solche Dinge auf der rechten Seite, wie zum Beispiel sessionübergreifendes Speichern von Werten an den Tabellen, an den Panels, sodass dieses, ja, was wir alle als User Experience bezeichnen, auch tatsächlich wieder eine deutliche Verbesserung erhalten kann. Das heißt also im Moment, wir haben eine Reihe von Dingen noch zu tun, wollen die auch weiter angehen. Und wie könnte ich diese Folie nicht zeigen? Marcel hat vorhin schon mal zu mir gesagt, immer wenn er auf meinen Bildschirm guckt, steht irgendwo Further Funding. Danke für diesen netten Übergang, Marcel. Ja, es bleibt dabei, wir haben die Notwendigkeit, ins Projekt zu investieren. Man könnte jetzt sagen, wir haben weniger Druck als vielleicht mit anderen Projekten, weil wir können das natürlich genau so schnell machen, wie wir das machen können, eben mit den Ressourcen, die uns zur Verfügung stehen. Aber vielleicht wollt ihr mich auch nur auf einer 7. oder 8. DevConf damit sehen und nicht auf einer 13. und 14. Also mir wäre wirklich daran gelegen, dass wir versuchen, dieses Projekt durch die Tür zu schieben und versuchen, diese Sachen zu Ende zu bringen. Wenn das im Projektzuschnitt nochmal irgendwo bedeutet, dass wir irgendwo sagen, wir belassen es an einer bestimmten Stelle, ist das okay. Aber wir sollten dieses Stückwerk, was wir jetzt im System haben und auch schon vor dem Beginn dieses Projektes an Teilen hatten, das sollten wir abräumen. Einfach für alle unsere Nutzer. Vielen Dank euch. Irgendwelche Fragen? Wolltest du nachfragen?
Ich wollte nichts fragen.
Ja, Florian.
Warte. Nein, das ist unsere.
Ich glaube, es geht wegen des Streams, dass du dort auch verstanden wirst.
Nichts gegen deinen Tenor, aber...
Zu dem Thema Quantity Display of Selected Items in Data Table. Ich weiß nicht, ob alle wissen, worum es da geht. Es geht darum, dass man früher in den IL-Table 2 GUIs sehen konnte, wie viel ist denn jetzt eigentlich da gerade drin in dem, was ich per Filter ausgewählt habe. Und das ist jetzt verloren gegangen oder noch nicht nachgebaut worden. Man liegt mir damit auch intern sehr in den Ohren. Und ich würde mich freuen, wenn mir Leute sagen, in welchen Use Cases sie das konkret vermissen. Weil das fehlt mir gerade so ein bisschen als Ansatz, um da gedanklich dran weiterzuarbeiten. Also wenn jemand dieses Problem auch schon mal hatte, vielleicht, dass jemand gekommen ist und gesagt hat, oh, das geht nicht mehr, dann ich würde mich freuen, wenn man mir erzählt, in welchem Use Case genau das der Fall ist. Danke.
Dankeschön, Florian. Genau, ich ergänze das noch. Das eine ist tatsächlich die Nachimplementierung dessen, was wir aus der alten Table kennen. Das heißt, ich gehe halt irgendwie auf das User Management und sehe dann, da steht 3112 und dann habe ich irgendwie eine Größenordnung von Seiten, eine Vorstellung, wie viele Menschen da sind oder wie viele Fragen in dem Pool liegen und. Und das Zweite ist aber, das ist etwas, was die alte Table auch nicht konnte, wo wir eigentlich gerne nachschärfen würden. Wie schön wäre es denn, wenn ich eben auf so einer Seite mit 300 Checkboxen in so einer Table und die ich habe und dann 35 Stellen markiere, irgendwie auch verstehen könnte. Ich habe 35 Leute ausgewählt. Ich habe irgendwie eine Idee davon, was ich als nächstes tue, wenn ich 13 Fragen löschen will. Also sowohl die Grundgesamtheit auf der Seite erfassen zu können, als auch die Gesamtheit der Dinge, mit denen ich als nächstes interagieren will. Sei es löschen, verschieben oder was auch immer damit zu tun sei. Genau, das sind, glaube ich, einfach Dinge, die wirklich der UX an der Stelle positiv zutrage.
Dankeschön.
Dann
Danke,
vielen Dank.
Oliver. Das haben wir so. Perfekt, das macht er. Wunderbar. Okay, thanks to Oliver. So, now we're closing with the topic Ilias 12. As already all informations about the feature wiki, the word that Marvin was looking before. So the feature wiki and the page Ilias 12 shows you what will come, what is already planned, and if you have a look on the page, what is accepted for trunk, you see all these features also that I mentioned before.